Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Do you feel stuck, silent, and stressed? Is something hurting your heart and soul? Are you burning yourself out? If so, you are in the right place because this is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with inner peace and joy. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Survivor to Thriver show. We have been talking about how to manage our fears. And in that context, we are talking about having an effective support team. What are the qualities that we need in someone who can act as an effective support person for us? Or what are the qualities that we need in the team or community that can act as an effective support system for us? What are some of those qualities? Because, when it comes to managing our fears, if we can have an effective support team around us, if we can have, if we can have an effective support team around us, it's like, wow, it's just amazing. Because whatever the problem is, whatever the challenges that you may be dealing with the right team around you, with the right kind of support persons around you, it's like any challenge, you'll be like, I can do this. I can do this. I can manage this, right? Because I have help, I have support, I have people who love me, who care about me. And I'm not alone. So it's like whatever challenges come out, we can deal with it together. I'm not in it alone. Just knowing that you are not in it alone gives you courage to move forward, to face your fears, to act in spite of your fear. So having an effective support team when we're trying to manage our fears is, I think, absolutely essential. Sometimes we may find ourselves in circumstances where that may not feel like it's an option. But in I would say the vast majority of cases, it's only our own fears that actually hold us back from speaking up, speaking out, asking for help and support. In most cases, we can actually find help and support when we are in a place where we need it. And that's something that I really believe, because I have faith, I have belief in the idea that we are never burdened with more than we can bear. I believe that no matter what the challenge is, if that challenge comes into my life, I can deal with it. I have the capacity to deal with it. If I don't have the capacity to deal with a certain challenge, it just won't come into my life. It won't. So having an effective support team, just knowing that you're not alone in having to do something in itself can give you lots of courage and help you move forward. But you need to have the right people around you, right? Because we have all had experiences in our lives where we have reached out for help and support and it's like backfired. The people that we reached out to maybe were not able to help us. And worse than not able to help us, unfortunately, what can also happen a lot of times is that not only do they not help us, but they actually hurt us, right? So that can be very, very detrimental. So it's in our best interest to know what kind of qualities we need in people to provide effective help and support to us, so that we can consciously cultivate those relationships so that we can consciously choose who we reach out to help and support for when we need it. Right? So that way we minimize the risk of getting hurt or getting ineffective responses when we reach out for help and support. So that's also, by the way, a very smart thing to do from the perspective of managing our fears, right? That's a way to honor our fears also. Because the fear, just asking for help and support can sometimes in itself be challenging. It can create fear in us because asking for help and support requires us to be vulnerable with other people. It requires that we let other people see where we have a certain weakness, where we have a certain lack in our life. And if you're afraid that, hey, someone could use that knowledge against us, someone could use that knowledge to hurt us, that is a valid concern, right? Because we have, again, experienced that. We have experienced that reality in our lives. So there's no point in taking blind risks. There's no point in just jumping off the cliff unprepared. No, it's like listen to the voice of that fear and honor it by taking appropriate precautions, the best precautions that you can to help keep you safe as you move forward. So and so you allow yourself to do that by going through this process of thinking about, okay, what do I really need in terms of the qualities of an effective support person, and who do I know who has these qualities? And if I don't know anyone who has these qualities, where can I go find such a person? Now, when we think about, okay, what are the qualities of an effective support person, to some extent, the list we can generate will be unique for each of us, depending on our personalities, on our values, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I need, some of the things that I value in the people that I have in my support team and that I want in my support team. And this is, I just think of it as a great, as a starting point to help you generate your own list. So yes, I want you to do that. I want you to actually generate your own list as well of what you really need. But my number one thing that I look for in an effective support person is, are they heart-centered or not? Like, that's really, really important to me. And when I think of someone being heart-centered, I mean someone who is connected to their spiritual heart. So they're connected to their values. They have clarity about what their values are. And they're committed to living in alignment with their values. And of course, not only are they aware of their values and committed to living their values, I also want someone who has alignment with my values, right? Because there could be someone out there who is living their values, but their values could be opposed to mine. So we need alignment in our values, of course, but before we can talk about alignment and values, it's like, is that person even aware of what their values are? Are they even committed to living their values? So that's just, for me, one aspect of being heart-centered. But the other really important aspect of being heart-centered is that our heart is our source of peace. Our heart is our source of happiness and joy and all those other good emotions and feelings that we have. So when you're a heart-centered person, you're connected to your source of inner peace and joy and happiness, then you can not only experience that for yourself, but you're able to share that experience with the people around you, right? Because you're able to live your inner peace, you're able to live your happiness, and that sort of comes out in your interactions with everyone else as well. So that's another really important thing for me, is like, are they heart-centered, right? Are they connected to their source of inner peace and happiness and wisdom? Yeah, our hearts, by the way, are also our source of wisdom. And the coolest thing about the wisdom of our hearts is that it is grounded in the values of our heart, right? And I don't care who you are, as long as you're human, you have a heart. I'm talking about a spiritual heart, right? You have a spiritual heart, and our spiritual hearts share certain values, right? We share certain values. Values like love, values like truth, values like a commitment to justice, values like kindness and compassion. So when people share the wisdom of their heart, you can trust that it is grounded in these values. And therefore, it is well-intentioned, it is well-meaning. And even if it is not directly applicable to you, because you are perhaps in a very different context, in a very different situation than mine, when I, and I'm sharing my heart's wisdom with you. And remember, wisdom is acquired through experience. It's acquired through the application of knowledge, right? But knowledge is applied within a context. And if your context is different, then if you apply the same knowledge, you will probably get very different results, because the context in which you're applying that knowledge is very different, right? So that is why we cannot just blindly follow anyone else, right? Even if they have the best intentions, even if we know that they're giving us their best advice, we still have to think for ourselves and consider what they're sharing with us, and evaluate it from the perspective of, how does this apply to me in my context, right? But at the very least, when when someone is sharing the wisdom of their heart with you, you know that they're coming from a good place and giving you the very best that they have to offer. And that's very, very important. So think about that. And if this is something you find yourself struggling with, please do not continue to struggle with it on your own. Reach out for help and support. And I'm one person you can reach out to. Just go to my website at www.academyofthriving.com. Click on the Contact Us page and you'll see how we can connect. So until next time, I wish you lots of peace and joy.